Middle finger.
Outstanding. Pow.
Too, so okay. 1, 2, 3. FATENZO.com. 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 FATENZO.com.
Boom. Good morning, poopies. It's 11:22 a.m.
Yes,
I'm happy we made it.
And happy Wednesday.
We made it to the morning.
Happy hump day, I guess.
Hump day?
Yeah.
It's hump day.
Yeah. Well, remember the stupid commercial? Hey, Mike. Mike. It's hump day. That was actually a good one.
Sometimes other days are hump days, like Thursdays.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah. How did it become that? That's so dumb. Just because of the camel's hump?
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe because it's just the middle of the typical Monday through Friday work week.
Mm-hmm.
But like I had many jobs that wasn't Monday through Friday. So Wednesday was not always hump day for me. It was like the beginning of my week.
So today is Wednesday, and it is the 12th week.
Yep.
In ordinary time. I am your host. By the way, this is the FATENZO show. If you don't know, I'm your host with the most. Whatever name you want, fling a quarter. Just take a quarter and flip it, and then you could pick what to call me. It doesn't really matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is I'm a name fluid English major, okay? And I am
Who doesn't know pronouns?
I don't know pronouns, and apparently I am I'm experiencing hyper religiosity at the moment.
Well,
I'm experiencing hyper religiosity. It's a psychosis, apparently.
Well, yeah, it is.
So, but I go to I go to mass every single day, and I report on it. Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, if you are a Christian, for instance,
mm-hmm.
and you want to hear the word of Lord every day, let's say you're a Catholic. Maybe you're a bad Catholic. We're going to talk about that today, being a good Catholic and a bad Catholic, actually. Maybe you're a bad Catholic. If you tune into this podcast, this is like basically a Cliff Notes for the bad Catholic, because I speak bad Catholic.
Whoa.
Although I'm becoming good Catholic.
In your eyes.
No. In the eyes of my ego, you're right. Yeah. No. We're going to talk about that. I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that, by the way.
No, I know.
But okay. So we'll talk about what that is. Then today we also, and by the way, this is right here to my right or to my left on the screen. I'm not sure. America's favorite Asian sidekick, Genghis Khan. Thank you for my tea, Genghis.
Yeah. By the way, that's actually how I failed my first driver's test.
By the way, I wanted to talk about this. I was thinking, when I was driving, like yesterday or the day or something like that. I was like,
Probably yesterday.
sidekick.
Okay.
What is that? Do you have any reaction to that word, sidekick? Do you think that is it a bad word to you?
No.
No, because some people would probably not want to be called a sidekick. Like, F you. Don't call me a sidekick, But like that. That's pretty. Think about it. Like you have a bike.
Well,
if you have a motorcycle, right? You have
Yeah.
a Harley Davidson motorcycle.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that sidekick,
What the hell?
Kickstand?
Kickstand.
it's gonna fall down. What's a sidekick? What is a sidekick?
I mean, all right. I guess
I was trying to make a comparison. I guess it's not the.
Yeah, that was a terrible comparison. That's not even the same word. I mean, I don't even know how to really. So a sidekick. It is a person's assistant or close associate, especially one who had less authority than that person. Okay. Which is actually pretty true. How much of that do I know? The agent stuff I'm supposed to know? I know none of it. I don't even know how to work Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
So
I mean,
what's in the bad news? Because we always do good news and we do bad news. Good news is anything from the book, and bad news is anything from the world.
Right.
Regardless of if you say it's good or bad or whatever your opinion on it is, if it's from the world, it's by definition bad news.
Yeah. So one thing, Colbert addresses staff arrest and right-wing coverage in blistering monologue.
Okay.
So I guess he's going to defend his people.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Supreme Court okays use of public money for religious education. That I really think is more of a kind of good news thing.
What happened?
The Supreme Court okays use of public money for religious education. So they're talking about.
Ooh.
Yeah, the video will talk about it. It's basically allowing the people to choose like what school their children go into.
Yes.
And now they're putting, I guess you would call it like Catholic schools or any other religious-based schools in that category now.
No kidding, dude.
Yeah. So that's kind of good news.
Yes, it is good news. And people are going to, you know what? I can already see it now. The tweeting's going to happen. It's going to be like, oh, I thought it was separation of church and state. No.
Actually, wait, hold on. They talk about that in that video.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
Are we on the same page here, man? This is the universe.
This is just this guy with the reporters and all that stuff. Yes.
This is just all the connected universal consciousness. This is where people are at right now. People know that spirituality is needed.
Yeah. And then finally, real bad news actually.
Mm-hmm.
Deadly earthquake in Afghanistan with at least 1,000 dead.
Yeah.
And 1,500 injured. I mean, it was a 5.9 magnitude earthquake.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the one that caused the tsunami all those years ago over on eastern side of Asia, whatever. It was like a 6.2, which you saw the devastation that tsunami did.
Mm-hmm.
That was a 6.2, I believe. This is.
I would rather be in an earthquake than a tsunami.
When you watched this,
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, I thought the same thing.
Really?
Until I watched it, and then I had like a dawning moment on me, where it was like, oh God, that's actually super terrifying. I mean, I don't want a tsunami either, but both are kind of equally terrifying to me.
Listen to this. If you know that that's possible, that you could be living somewhere, you could be just chilling somewhere, and the earth could eat you up right where you sit, and you don't fear God, and you think like you're just you are so dumb.
Yeah, like that.
You are so dumb, dude. Because all those earthly treasures are worth nothing. Really, it's an illusion.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I would love it to hear like more people talk.
You know what we're also going to talk about today? By the way, we're going to talk about Saint Paulinus in the good news section. Saint Paulinus of Nola. who's actually from Campania, and I have some, blood from there, from Campania region.
Oh, okay.
Of Italy. But the reason why I was saying that because he not only he looks like a friend that we know,
Friend of ours, yes.
and that's so crazy that it's Nola in Italy. But our friend that we know is from Louisiana.
Yeah.
New Orleans. Nola. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that is. I see your point there.
That's kind of weird.
That is and the fact of his name too, or his moniker. Wait.
Yeah.
Hi.
It's pretty funny.
I'm trying not to say it.
It's just pretty funny though that but anyway, we're going to talk about him, and I forgot why that was connected, but there's a connection with what we were just talking about. Basically, it's all going to tie in. It's all going to tie in.
Well, those are what I got today on the bad news. Did you have anything as well on that? Or
there's a lot of bad news. There's like some Connecticut mom that scammed like $500,000 on GoFundMe.
Okay,
I got a video for that. Like she said, her kid got it had like a bullying thing happen to him, but he just was like a foolish thing in the backyard. He did it to himself. I get a video. Bill Cosby.
Yeah,
I saw that there's a civil court that dude, some priests were killed.
Oh yeah,
a couple priests were killed. That's in the Washington Post. Sister wives, new age sister wives, due to DNA. Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on, wait.
So there's these two girls, different moms, but apparently the two moms had sexual relations
with the
same father.
Or biological,
and maybe they just, I don't know how they don't know this, or they have to they haven't taken the DNA test yet, but there's a good chance that it's, I don't know, something like that. That's going to be on here. Ben Stiller's in here. Ben Stiller's over there in Ukraine. We're going to talk about why these people go into war zones all the time, just like it's been happening since Jane Fonda days, right?
Yeah.
And
I used to like him too.
Southwest Airlines pilots, a bunch of Southwest Airlines pilots are on strike, or they're not, I don't know, they're picketing. There's a difference, I guess, between picketing and striking, right? I don't know.
Picketing is a common tactic used by trade unions during strikes, who will try to prevent dissident members of the union, members of other unions, and non-unionized workers from working. So picket lines are like during, I guess, the strikes that they're trying to stop. I know they call them scab workers at times.
So it's an element of.
It's an element
striking.
Of striking. Yeah, striking is probably I think it's the first thing. Like kind of like a public.
Striking is the umbrella term of what you're doing, and then one of the activities within striking would be picketing.
Yes.
Okay.
Huh.
Are you ready to do the content creators credo, my friend?
Yes.
All right, so we do this every day. This is our creed. We urge any other content creators to adopt this as well. Ready, Genghis?
Yes, I am.
I believe that the freedom of speech is a universal international right, that all opinions shall be tolerated, regardless if agreeable or disagreeable. I believe in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, not
from religion,
not from it, freedom of the press, the right of the people to peaceably assemble, be it physically or virtually or digitally. I believe in the separation of church and state and corporation. I believe that the truth is non-binary and can be objective, subjective, normative, or complex. There are no eternal facts, as there are no absolute truths. For us creators and for our content, great thinkers have philosophized, and our founding fathers debated the dangers of cancellation and censorship for centuries. And no individual shall be indemnified at criticism or mockery, for there is honesty in jest. I pledge that the ideas I share are my own and are not the expressed opinions of any violent criminal organizations. The only group I represent is the human race, and I reserve the right to interview any of my counterparts without fear, threats, or intimidation, with their opinions being their own, with my opinions being my own, for association does not always equal shared beliefs. I pledge to perform in a professional, dignified manner and to not bully, harass, or slander my fellow human creatures, to refrain from hate, anger, sedition, vulgarity, harassment, pornography, cautioning that sarcasm can at times be misinterpreted as such. I believe in the counter-speech doctrine, that the remedy to negative, harmful speech is more positive, helpful speech, not enforced silence. And no person shall be denied access to social media, which is the marketplace of ideas, and today's town square. The Section 230 privatizes communism and legalizes slander, and that content creators who have broken community guidelines in the past deserve retribution, because we are all constituents of the human party, and humans are fallible. Amen.
Outstanding. Pow!
All right, so let's go into it, I guess.
Yep.
So we're going to do good news first?
Yep, as we're...
Today in Mass, we talked about Saint Paulinus of Nola.
Mm-hmm.
The highborn Paulinus was governor of Campania in Italy when he began his journey into the church, moved in part through the miracles he witnessed at the shrine of Saint Felix. In part, Paulinus left behind his riches to live poor himself near Saint Felix's shrine at Nola. There, he and his wife, Teresia, embraced consecrated life, creating monastic houses of prayer and service. Paulinus offered the poor the first floor of his quarters. He considered them his masters. He served as Bishop of Nola from 409 until his death in 431. In Paulinus's letters and poetry, we find a lived theology woven from God's word, constantly examined as a light for life. That was said by Pope Benedict the 16th. And yeah, like I said, Wednesday of the 12th week in ordinary time. So I want to talk about, I got some Wikipedia stuff and we can talk about Pauline. When should we talk about that though? Should we do it now or should we go into the mass or should we go into the mass part first? Like read the readings first.
I don't really think it.
Let's go into this. I guess we'll just go into the Wikipedia. Let's do the before we do the readings from the book, we'll do the readings from Wikipedia.
All right.
Okay. So this guy learned about Paulinus of Nola from the book of Wikipedia. He was born Pontius Meropius Anicius Paulinus. He was a Roman poet, writer, and senator who attained the ranks of sufficient consul, and governor of Campania. But following the assassination of the Emperor Gratian, and under the influence of his Spanish wife, Teresia of Nola, abandoned his career, was baptized as a Christian, and properly after Teresia's death became Bishop of Nola in Campania. That's awesome. That's awesome. He lived a full life.
Yeah.
After the death. That's the way to do it, man.
What do you mean?
It's a full life. That's the way to do it. You like anybody should become a priest. Like at a certain point, you've learned so much. and you like, and maybe if that happens, only if that happens, something like that happens where your wife dies.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the only, okay. So anyway, that doesn't work. So let me continue. But it worked out for him. He had a big, Teresia's death became, okay. So wait, hold on.
After
while there, he wrote poems in honor of his predecessor, Saint Felix, and corresponded with other Christian leaders throughout the empire. He is credited with the introduction of bells to Christian worship and helped resolve the disputed election of Pope Boniface I. Or is that Boniface? Boniface? His renunciation of his wealth and station in favor of an ascetic and philanthropic life was held up as an example by many of his contemporaries, including S.S. Augustine, Jerome, these are all saints? SS? Is that what that means? Is that why? Dude, the Nazis, man,
yeah, it's actually when I'm reading.
Hitler was Catholic.
Yeah, but when I put over, where it had the underline there on SS, it just gives a question mark on my screen. Not even giving me an explanation.
Augustine, Jerome, Martin, and Ambrose. I think it just means saint, maybe. And he was consequently venerated as a saint. His relics became a focus of pilgrimage, but were removed from Nola sometime between the 11th and 12th centuries. His feast day is observed on June 22nd, today, in both the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches. In Nola, the entire week around the feast day is celebrated as the festival of the lilies.
Yeah.
Pontius Meropius Paulinus was born in the year 352 at Bordeaux in southwestern France. He was from a notable senatorial family with estates in the Aquitaine. Oh, that's actually cut off right there. I'm sorry. Aquitaine something.
Province of France.
Aquitaine province of France, northern Iberia, and southern Italy. Paulinus,
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Paulinus was a kinsman of Melania the Elder. He was educated in Bordeaux, where his teacher, the poet Ausonius, also became his friend. At some time during his boyhood, he made a visit to the shrine of St. Felix. What does it say? And Nola near Naples?
At Nola.
Oh, at Nola?
Near Naples.
His his normal career as a young member of the senator class did not last long. In 375, the Emperor Gratian succeeded his father, Valentinian. Gratian made Paulinus suffect consul at Rome in year 377 and appointed him governor of the southern Italian province of Campania in year 380. Paulinus noted the Campanians' devotion to St. Felix of Nola and built a road for pilgrims as well as a hospice for the poor near the local shrine. I got to look up Felix of Nola. In 383, Gratian was assassinated at Lyon, France, and Paulinus went to Milan to attend the school of Ambrose. Around 384, he returned to Bordeaux. There he married Teresia, a Christian noblewoman from Barcelona. Paulinus was threatened with the charge of having murdered his brother. It is possible that an attempt was made to accuse him in order to confiscate his property. He was baptized by Bishop Delphinus of Bordeaux. He and his wife traveled to Iberia about 390. How could you be a bishop and then have a wife, though? When they lost their only child 8 days after birth, they decided to withdraw from the world and live a secluded religious life. Paulinus was close to both Pelagius and to the Pelagian writer Julian of Eclanum. I don't understand that, though. How is he like a bishop and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, because it says they're not. It canon 33rd degree, bishop, presbyterian, deacons, and others with a position in the ministry are to abstain completely from sexual intercourse with their wives and from procreation of children. But that is
In 393 or 394, after some resistance from Paulinus, he was ordained a presbyter on Christmas Day by Lampius, Bishop of Barcelona. This was similar to what happened with St. Augustine of Hippo, who had been ordained against his protestations in the year 391 at the behest of a crowd cooperating with Bishop Valerius in the northern African city of Hippo, Regis. However, there is some debate as to whether the ordination was canonical. Was canonical, since Paulinus received ordination at a leap without receiving minor orders first. Yeah, it's not. That doesn't work. Paulinus refused to remain in Barcelona, and in late spring in 395, he and his wife moved from Iberia to Nola in Campania, where he remained until his death. Paulinus credited his conversion to St. Felix, who was buried in Nola, and each year would write a poem in honor of the saint. He and Teresa also rebuilt a church commemorating St. Felix. During these years, Paulinus engaged in considerable epistolary dialogue with St. Jerome, among others, about monastic topics. Paulinus decided to invest his money for the poor and the church rather than rejecting it completely, which stands in contrast to other more severe contemporary views such as Jerome's. Teresa died sometime between 408 and 410, and shortly afterwards, Paulinus received episcopal ordination. That's so weird. Presbyter and episcopal ordination. Why are those two words used? And those are two denominations of Christian. Are we going to find the elements of where somebody hyper-focused on that element, creating their own?
Probably.
Around 410, Paulinus was chosen Bishop of Nola, where he served for 20 years. Like a growing number of aristocrats in the late 4th and early 5th centuries who were entering the clergy rather than taking up the more usual administrative careers in the imperial service, Paulinus spent a great deal of his money on his chosen church, city, and ritual. You know, that's funny that he says ritual. Ritual, I was thinking about that today. Today I was walking.
Yeah.
Buddy, and saw somebody that we know that we always see around here.
Mm-hmm.
That person was on their bike and they go, "What is this, your new morning ritual?" And I was thinking, you know what?
Basically.
And then I was thinking about what a ritual was. And then I was thinking about when you do bad things, that's a ritual too.
Yeah.
But it's a ritual in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that's true.
Paulinus died at Nola on the 22nd of June, 431. The following year, the presbyter Uranus wrote his On the Death of Paulinus, an account of the death and character of the saint. As Bishop of Nola, Paulinus is traditionally credited with the introduction of the use of bells in church services. Whoa. Wow. That's where that comes from, huh? One form of medieval handbell was known as the Nola, and medieval steeple bells were known as campanas. Campanas. Wow, really? The bells are campanas?
I guess so.
Oh my God. Now that I know that just makes me really happy, honestly, from the supposed origin. However, Dr. Adolf Busse, professor of the seminary of Cologne, showed that the use of bells in churches, an invention credited to Paulinus by tradition, is not due to him, nor even to the town of Nola. Damn. You know what? It's just like Columbus. You're not taking it away from me. I just read it. Therefore, I'm sorry. It's already committed. I'm done. I already identify with it. No. All right, I'll stop. No.
You can identify with it, but facts don't matter.
Already during his governorship, Paulinus had developed a fondness for the 3rd century martyr Saint Felix of Nola. That's right. We knew that. Yeah. Felix was a minor saint of local importance and patronage whose tomb had been built within the local necropolis at Cimetile or Cimetile. Just outside the town of Nola. As governor, Paulinus had widened the road to Cimetile and built a resistance for travelers. It was at this site that Paulinus and Teresia took up residence. Nearby were a number of small chapels and at least one old basilica. Paulinus rebuilt the complex, constructing a brand new basilica to Felix, and gathered to him a small monastic community. Paulinus wrote an annual hymn in honor of St. Felix for the feast day, when processions of pilgrims were at their peak. In these hymns, we can understand the personal relationship Paulinus felt between himself and Felix, his advocate in heaven. His poetry shares with much of the work of the early 5th century in ornateness of style that classists of the 18th and 19th centuries found cloying and dismissed as decadent. Though Paulinus's poems were highly regarded at the time and used as educational models. Many of Paulinus's letters to his contemporaries, including Ausonius and Sulpicius Severus in southern Gaul, Victitius of Ruin in northern Gaul, and some other dude in Africa, Augustine in Africa, and are preserved. 4 letters from Paulinus to Augustine survive, and 8 from Augustine to Paulinus. In one, Augustine invites Paulinus to visit Africa as a publishing technique. At that time, Augustine often sent copies of his works to Paulinus to be copied and circulated in Italy. Paulinus may have been indirectly responsible for Augustine's confessions. Paulinus wrote to Alpius, bishop of Thagaste and a close friend of St. Augustine, asking about his conversion and taking up of the ascetic life. Alpius's autobiographical response does not survive. St. Augustine's ostensible answer to that query is the Confessions. Paulinus also wrote 5 letters to Delphinus and 6 to Amandus of Bordeaux. Paulinus' surviving letters and poems, made many devoted to the feast day of Felix, reveal his attitudes and values, illuminate his social and spiritual relationships, preserve vivid traces of the literary and aesthetic evolution of Latin literature under the influence of Christian ideas, and document the emergence of the late antique culture of the saints.
Actually, it's an antique cult of the saints.
Does it say cult?
Yeah.
Antique cult?
Cult.
Wow. Well, this is Wikipedia.
Yeah.
We know about, all right, so we know about his buildings in honor of St. Felix from literary and archaeological evidence, especially from his long letter to Sulpicius Severus. Everybody's writing letters.
Basically.
It's like you next they're gonna be like his text messages
and emailing.
Yeah. Years from now, they're gonna be like uncovering the the text messages, reading the text messages of this person. He includes the ancient text messages. He includes a detailed description of the apse mosaic over the main altar and gives the text for a long inscription he had written to be put on the wall under the image, by explaining how he intended the visitors to understand the image over the altar. Paulinus provided rare insight into the intentions of a patron of art in the later empire. He explained his project in a poem dedicated to another great catechist, St. And this, whatever, it doesn't matter. So he wrote poems. I'm not, all right, I'm just not understanding.
Meaning which thing?
What did he do?
So after his wife,
Piety, life of piety.
yeah, after
Because he
his wife-
gave up.
yeah, after
Because he gave everything up.
yes, after his wife,
Okay.
yeah, that's all.
That's all.
It's another example of somebody giving up the first class world, going to a third class world, whatever you want to call it, living in poverty.
Listen to the legend thing. Gregory the Great recounts a popular story that alleges that when the Vandals raided Campania, a poor widow came to Paulinus for help when her only son had been carried off by the son-in-law of the Vandal king. Having exhausted his resources in ransoming other captives, Paulinus said, "Such as I have I give thee," and went to Africa to exchange places with the widow's son. There, Paulinus was accepted in place of the widow's son and employed as gardener. After a time, the king found out that his son-in-law's slave was the great bishop of Nola. He at once set him free, granting him also the freedom of all the captive townsmen of Nola, according to Pope Benedict the 16th. The historical truth of this episode is disputed, but the figure of a bishop with a great heart who knew how to make himself close to his people in the sorrowful trials of the barbarian invasions lives on.
Yeah, so he took place of somebody else's whatever, and he's revered as a saint.
I don't know, man. But really, when you understand what a saint is, it's anybody in heaven, right? Really,
Yeah.
when it comes down to it.
Again, sacrifice.
So obviously, nowadays, you know how they loved Saint Felix back then in that region. So now, obviously, they love Saint Paulinus in modern day Nola.
Yeah.
And I'm presuming Nola is in Campania. So the surrounding regions devoted to Saint Paulinus. His feast day is celebrated annually in Nola during La Festa de Gili,
I guess.
the Feast of the Lilies, man. So yeah, so that's cool. That's that. That's that. The first reading, dude. First reading.
2 King, chapter 22.
Here it is. This is the reading from the old book. The old book. A reading from Second Book of Kings. The high priest Hilkiah. By the way, the lady today,
Yeah.
she was mispronouncing Judah. She said Judea, and she did it once, and then she kept doing it the whole time. Because once you commit to doing it, and it mentions it over and over again throughout the whole thing, you just stick to it.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna notice, right?
So
the high priest Hilkiah,
I think that's it.
Hilkiah informed the scribe Shaphan, "I have found the book of the law in the temple of the Lord." Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, who read it. Then the scribe Shaphan went to the king and reported, "Your servants have smelted down the metals available in the temple and have consigned them to the master workmen in the temple of the Lord." The scribe Shaphan also informed the king that the priest Hilkiah had given him a book and then read it aloud to the king. When the king heard the contents of the book of the law, he tore his garments and issued this command to Hilkiah, the priest. Ahikam, son of Shaphan, Achbor, son of Micaiah, the scribe Shaphan, and the king's servant, Asaiah, go consult the Lord for me, for the people, for all Judah, about the stipulations of this book that has been found. For the anger of the Lord has been set furiously ablaze against us, because our fathers did not obey the stipulations of this book, nor fulfill our written obligations. The king then had all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem summoned together before him, the king went up to the temple of the Lord with all the men of Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, priests, prophets, and all the people, small and great. He had the entire contents of the book of the covenant that had been found in the temple of the Lord read out to them. Standing by the column, the king made a covenant before the Lord that they would follow him and observe his ordinances, statutes, and decrees with their whole hearts and souls, thus reviving the terms of the covenant which were written in this book. And all the people stood as participants in the covenant. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. All right, so what does the word covenant mean, man? Is the covenant just like a deal that you make with God? Is that what that is? They use that word an awful lot.
The Hebrew Bible makes references to number of covenants with God. Okay, that's fine. Oh, an agreement. Sorry.
An agreement.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically an agreement.
Ark of the Covenant. So it's just a covenant is just a deal. God, I'm going to make a deal with you.
Well,
Would you
deal
please
would
just
sound
keep
more like
up,
from the
keep my
devil.
city good and then, huh?
A deal sounds more like the devil. They always say that
You want to make a deal with the devil? Deal. With the
Or do you
devil.
want to make
Or do you want to make a covenant with
the
God?
Lord? With the Lord. So.
A covenant with the Lord. See that? That could be used in an antithesis down the road.
Well.
Oh, what are my stupid thoughts? Do I have any dumb thoughts today? Did I have any random thoughts? Yes. Or should we do the second? We'll do the second reading first and then some dumb thoughts and takeaways. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Second. All right. Or unless, do you have any?
I have a funny feeling that he's going to,
what's your initial reaction of this? The first reading? Anything?
Well, first reaction is that the king realizes that what they had been doing is wrong. Well, they were following the wrong laws. They were following the laws of man, not the laws of the Lord or of God.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to his people, as in the regular common folks or whatever, people of the city, and basically declared that he would make a covenant with the Lord, and everybody seemed to follow.
Right.
So pretty much, this one's actually not
okay.
about war.
So actually, this is interesting. So this is really, man, this is interesting. Okay. Forget it. Let's just go with the talking about this right now. So just staying in the moment. Why does everybody, a lot of the denominations have a problem with Catholics,
right,
praying to Mary and saints?
And,
always.
And
look at this guy. Look at this guy in the Old Testament,
and
making a covenant with God. He's doing it on behalf of him and God, and you are trusting in a human being.
Actually, here, I'll read it. I'll read this part again, talking what you're saying. Standing by the column, the king made a covenant before the Lord that they would follow him and observe his ordinances, statutes, and decrees.
Yeah.
So hold on here. Just to ankle bite, however, opposed JLP Jesse here.
Mm-hmm.
The Catholics aren't worshiping statues. This is from the Old Testament. Wouldn't that technically mean the Jewish people are worshiping statues?
No, statutes.
Statutes. What the diff? No.
Statute. A statute.
I thought it said statute.
Statute.
Oh, close enough.
You look like a statute.
I don't know what that means.
I'm from Campania. I'm St. Paulinus.
That don't mean nothing.
Hey, you effing statute.
A written law passed by a legislative body.
Yeah. So what he's saying is, this is what he's saying, that he was, hey, look, he was going, I'm going to make a deal.
Well, yeah, that's
with God.
Yeah, I was trying.
And you're going to follow me and do everything I say because it's under God. And I'm saying that's okay. I mean,
Well,
I don't know. I mean, I really don't know.
Hold on. You got to remember, though, that
I guess it's good for your leader to have God.
I guess that's a way to take it. Yeah. He got this from Hilkiah, who is a high priest of I'm assuming, of whatever town, I guess, Judah. Oh, no, I don't know, wherever it is.
Hey, when we have the Israelites on, I'm going to be like, are you guys a high priest?
No, that would be you. And
then, yeah, I'll say I'm a high priest.
So, yeah, basically the priest went to the scribe, who I would call more of like a
oh, my God, that's actually funny. We need to use that, the high priest part. Got to use that, high priest. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you very much. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so...
What were you...
This is once again, though, coming from one person to another. Hilkiah made the informed scribe about the book. And then Shaphan read that book, told it to the king. And the king, ripped his garments off because he was in disbelief of how, I guess, the lies. And then went in front of his people to making a deal with God in front of everyone. Mm-hmm. And they decided to follow him. Mm-hmm. I mean...
All right, so this leads into my point. I have an apology. Because I'm an apologist, right? At this point now. I'm becoming one. Or a defender. But my apology is this. Do you ask your friends or family to pray for you? When people say... I just want to. All you need is a relationship with Jesus. Like that's what my problem is with Catholicism. I don't like that you pray to Mary. I don't like that you pray to saints.
Yeah.
What I'm asking you is this: that person. Do you ask your friends or family to pray for you?
No.
You don't?
No.
Well, okay, you might not.
No. I don't even.
Do you think that this person will?
I even mean that not just in my eye.
Yeah.
But it's your relationship with God. Your family can pray for you all they want.
I'm asking you, listen to me. I'm talking about hypocrisy. Do you think, let's say I had Uncle Mike on here and I was like, all right, thank you. Hey, can you pray for me?
Okay, yeah.
You think he would do it? Do you think that's a thing that a lot of Christians do? They pray for each other. Thoughts and prayers. That's a normal thing that you always hear.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get
so
that.
I would say that, so that's usually not to say Bible thumper in a negative way or anything like that, but another person who is another denomination Christian, that's one of their standard things that they say is, my problem with Catholicism is don't pray to Mary and things like that. And I'm asking them, do you ever ask your family or your friends to pray for you? And they're going to say yes, if they're not going to be hypocrites. And then I'm going to say this. Okay, well then what's the difference between asking one of your living friends or family members to pray for you or asking one of your dead friends or family members to pray for you? If we are all spirits and we communicate on different spiritual plane, then why the aversion to other Christian denominations to pray an incessory prayer to any particular saint or the Virgin Mary? In my opinion, there's no difference. If you truly believe that we are all spirits trapped in a meat body lined with ego, the same, why can't you say, hey, pray for me? Just like I say, pray to you, hey,
because you both are practicing the same ideas and not even noticing it.
Anyway, this is my stupid logic trying to apologize for the Catholic faith. That's my take. That was my apology. So give me a round of applause. Now.
But no matter how much you ask somebody or how much you pray to Mary or whatever saint you may be praying to, or asking people for prayers.
Yeah, of course. I know. These are not main staple prayers. The main staple prayer is the prayer to God. The other thing is the Hail Mary pass, where Why do they call it a Hail Mary pass? Why do they call it a Hail Mary pass?
You're missing my point completely.
What? But you're missing my point completely then. Because that was a good connection right there.
Yes, it was. I'm trying to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was. That's why do they call it a Hail Mary pass? Because you're asking for an intercessory prayer for help for somebody to catch the ball. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that your question and their answer, however it looks in both ways, how I see it, the hypocrisy is on both sides.
Hey man,
it's funny.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I totally understand it. I 100%. And I agree with it too, kind of. But I buy into the thing. So,
that's tying into again when you made I know you probably don't. Well, no, that's the whole thing. Because all that matters in either in heaven or hell or wherever I'm going after this is my deed.
It's another one of those things, man. Yes, that's fine. That's great. Yeah. That's great, dude. That's great. But it's one of those things like you're talking about, I'm just going to do this and I'm not going to do anything else. It's like going you have a problem and you're sick and you have to go get like some, you have to get it fixed. So instead of getting the cast, you bandage it up or something like that. I don't know. Instead of getting the surgery, I don't know how to explain it. But we're
I don't think that
yes. No. Listen to me for 1 second. Just listen to me with open heart and brain.
I do.
When we might have to take a pee break in a second to really get the full effect. But when you're praying right to God, okay, that's great. But like, if you really need help, maybe you're going to call in a little bit of assistance. In reality, you probably, hey, okay, would you help me out? Would you pray for me too, please? That's a common thing that people do.
Yes.
That's a common practice thing. I know in the end of the day, it's just that. And you don't have to ask your friend to pray for you. You don't. But it's another extra thing that you could do. That's what I'm saying. And other people, then that's what the Hail Mary is too. The Hail Mary is that too. And that makes perfect sense why that's called a Hail Mary pass. Well,
yes, it does.
It does.
It always has.
It's just, I know, but I never put it together.
Okay, yeah.
I never put it together. Sorry.
No.
Like that.
Okay.
I'm just a stoned idiot.
No, I realize.
Who goes to mass every day.
Okay. Yeah.
But so that's what it is. It's not even that bad. It's like everybody's like, oh, I don't even pray to Mary. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's an extra thing that we allow that you don't allow. It's like if you're gonna go get it like a surgery and they're like, let's take all of it out or whatever. Or like, oh no, just take some.
Well, yeah, that makes. I
was trying to explain. I don't know, but you want the whole. If you want all the help you possibly can get, why not ask for and following that same logic, if you're a Christian and you ask your friends and family to pray for you and you really truly believe that we are all spirits, then what does that mean then? That means that when you pass on, do you think that your loved one's gone forever? Do you ever say, hey, oh man, and then do you really, it's always to God? It's never to please mom, please dad, please whatever it is. Come on, stop. I don't think so. I think that it is, I think the natural inclination is for a human being to ask for an intercessory prayer. And what is if you do that, then what's the problem with praying to a saint, praying to the Virgin Mary? There isn't any.
No.
So I
agree with that.
Doing the apology thing, and I'm just thinking it out.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do the second reading.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to go off on a tangent there, Genghis. Do you want to take a pee break while we? No?
Not
okay.
Yet.
All right.
I don't think.
Let's do the Matthew.
Chapter 7.
Matthew chapter 7. Jesus said to his disciples, This is the one that I like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus says to his disciples, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but underneath are ravenous wolves. By their fruits you will know them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Just so, every good tree bears good fruit, and a rotten tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a rotten tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire. So by their fruits you will know them. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Don't be, and if you so, you'll know the false prophet by their bad fruit. I don't know why you're looking at me like that. You cut down the tree. If you don't want to end up a tree that ends up in the fire, like Genghis will eventually.
Gee, I wonder what could my possible takeaway be of this?
The obvious thing you shouldn't run with that. No.
And what do you think the obvious thing is?
Tell me what you say. Let's go.
Just the first line says it. Beware of false prophets.
Yes.
And I understand why the Judaism is the way it is. They don't believe in Jesus, whatever, being the Son of God. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but underneath are ravenous wolves. To me, that could mean anyone. And
no, that's not just anybody. That's a lot of different people.
Well, that's what I mean by anybody. Like anybody.
It could be anybody at all.
Yeah.
You don't think that people have good intentions? You don't think that some people are legitimately have good intentions?
I mean to a point, I guess they do, but there's something that I think everybody, I think that at least I'm looking at it like this, is if you're a spirit per se, and if you've done the bad things in your life before, all that stuff, you bared bad fruit, right? You were a rotten tree. This one now says you can't bear good fruit, and that a rotten tree would be cut down and thrown into the fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking and hearing like, so there's no chance. There's no redemption.
No, not if you don't make an effort. You got to make an effort to produce the good fruit.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not saying anything of that. If you look at it in the words,
I believe what it says is true. I think that there's a time in life where if you're not making good fruit and you're not producing good fruit, I think that you get taken out.
Well, yeah, you do.
I think that your time in the game is over with. It's game over for you.
Well, yeah, and then in that sense, that theory means that you've done bad. There's no way to redeem it.
No, because you're not trying. If you're trying, remember you always say it. You say that the soul needs to always. What is the quote that you?
Spiritual progress, not
progress.
spiritual
Yes,
perfection.
Yes,
right. But
so
it's not saying here at all like a rotten tree can possibly bear good fruit if it makes the effort or if it does good. Can a rotten tree bear good fruit? No.
Yeah, but but it doesn't say that it's always it doesn't say that it's always like that in indefinite either.
No, I know.
So
it's all your interpretation of what I'm saying.
As human beings,
yeah,
sorry.
As it just is. And that is any interpretation. I've kind of came to that realization today. Any interpretation is an opinion. I mean, I actually really am agreeing with Uncle Mike. He kind of got me. He's the one who started this when he said there's no absolute truth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, that really resonated and made me think yesterday and today.
Okay. No, he didn't say there is an absolute truth. He said there is an absolute truth. It's God. It's God's truth. He said that there is an absolute truth. He said he does not.
But what he said by it being there's no absolute truth, but God truth from the King James Bible. I'm not, and nothing on bad on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then on your end per se, who is into the Catholicism along with your friend Dr. Bob and stuff.
Yeah.
That is all an interpretation, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, it
and
is.
It's what I'm realizing is I see now why there's so much more conflict between different denominations and stuff like that. Because everybody believes so wholeheartedly that their whoever, like
perspective,
Jesus, their perspective
is right.
Is the truth. Is not the false prophet. It's the normal sheep without the wolf under it.
Well, what happens is, man, I mean, think about when you have a lot of denominations, okay? Mm-hmm. And when everybody can start a Christian church on a street corner, and there's no vetting process, and nobody's really sacrificing anything. They're making their money from it. They're probably paying their bills with it, right? With what they're making, right?
Yeah.
So, but what? Oh,
I thought you meant something else.
No. But I'm saying like those we're talking about the difference. What we're talking about?
Oh, about the different denominations.
The denominations, yeah. Well, when you have too many people, you can just start a church on any street corner. You'll have people that are not vetted properly. They haven't done what it takes. They don't really understand the Bible. They maybe aren't really living it. They're talk the talk, walk the walk. Like if you're not walking the walk, like there's no way I'm listening to you. Number one, I'm not. If you're not coming from a place of peace, if you're not coming from a place of complete, like you have your life completely figured out 100%, then you have the ability to talk to me about that. You have to be able to control yourself and your own house first. And so I don't know that about some of these people. Some of these people, like Jesse Lee Peterson interviews them on his Fallen State show.
Right.
And he had like a lot. Now they'll have, a lot of females, preachers. They'll have like transgender preachers. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. And whatever. I'm not passing judgment. I know. I'm just saying that there's a lot of different Christian denominations out there. There's a lot. So what I like about Catholicism is it is universal. It's a universal church. It's the same interpretation. It changes, but it changes through the interpretation of the institution and like everybody voting on it and thinking about it and stuff. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm not judging it. I'm just telling you.
No, I'm not.
So it's that, it's got that going on. So it maintains the purest form of what like Christianity was. And so all of those other things that came off of it, those are their interpretations of it. That's their interpretation.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I'm still saying the same thing I guess I tried saying.
But what do you think about this? The major takeaway of Matthew though. So bad fruit, good fruit, right? That it's, you don't have to just, so it doesn't have to just be prophets, like literally, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't literally have to be like another, whatever, a literal false prophet. It doesn't have to be that. It's anybody who's, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Somebody who thinks, they act a certain way and then they really have a different intention within them. You know what I'm saying? That kind of person they're saying be wary of and don't be like them. Because if you're like them, if you're that kind of person, you're going to get taken out anyway. That's basically what I took from it. You're getting taken out either way. You want to act like that? You want to go be a deceitful person and then act a certain way and do something sneaky down, then eventually your chickens are going to come home and roost. You're not going to be, everybody's going to realize what kind of real person you are because of the fruit that's bad. They're going to be like, oh, this person produces bad fruit. And then you're going to be chopped up and thrown in the furnace.
Yeah, that's the takeaway. That's a good takeaway.
Yeah. That's what I take.
That's
the stoner takeaway.
Yeah. Mine's, I guess, just, I don't really know. Mine's a lot different right now.
So do you want to do some bad news, Genghis?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me.
Hold on. So I guess we'll start off with Stephen Colbert addresses staff arrest and right-wing coverage in blistering monologue. There's about like a maybe under 4-minute video for that.
There is. Okay, here, let me play it.
And released. A very unpleasant experience for my staff. A lot of paperwork for the Capitol Police, but a fairly simple story. Until the next night, when a couple of the TV people started claiming that my puppet squad had, quote, committed insurrection at the U.S. Capitol building. First of all, what? Second of all, huh? Third of all, they weren't in the Capitol building. Fourth of all, and I am shocked I have to explain the difference, but an insurrection involves disrupting the lawful actions of Congress and howling for the blood of elected leaders, all to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. This was first-degree puppetry. It's predictable why these TV talkers are talking like this on the TV. They want to talk about something other than the January 6th hearings on the actual seditionist insurrection that led to the deaths of multiple people and the injury of over 140 police officers, but drawing any equivalence between rioters storming our Capitol to prevent the counting of electoral ballots and a cigar-chomping toy dog is a shameful and grotesque insult to the memory of everyone who died. And it obscenely trivializes the service and the courage the Capitol Police showed on that terrible day.
Let me play you some of what he is reacting to, the criticism that he has faced. Watch.
Last night, producers for Stephen Colbert's show on CBS committed insurrection at the United States Capitol.
All you ask for is equal application of the law. Somebody breaks the law, then they should be charged. So on the one hand, I'm glad that the Capitol Police had the political guts to actually arrest these people. There is, I think, a question as to how is it that they got back into the Capitol? Once you've been kicked out, isn't there a security breach by allowing them back in for a second time? But I'm glad that they have been caught, that they've been charged. But I want to see these people prosecuted to the same degree and the same outrage that the left pretends on January 6th people.
Here now, CNN senior political analyst John Avlon.
Wow. You know how we like to say that context matters, John? This is a really good example of that. It's also the dumbest possible imaginable example of that. I miss when Republicans used to talk about the dangers of moral equivalence, how kind of define deviancy down in our culture, because this is just bonkers. To hear Chaffetz, to hear these Fox News hosts straight-faced talking about how a, toy dog puppet who chomps a cigar in a 20-year-old bit is insurrection. I mean, it's somewhere between insulting and absurd.
What does it tell you about how they present what happened on January 6th while the January 6th committee hearings are happening?
Well, they devoted probably more airtime to it on some of those shows than the actual coverage of the investigation hearings, and I think that's the point. They're stretching for anything that has a whiff of hypocrisy when it has nothing to do with the other thing. They're showing more interest in trying to own the libs than investigate an actual insurrection. If they actually are constitutional conservatives, if many of them claim to be, then they'd really care about an attempt to overturn an election in the United States that was deemed both illegal and unconstitutional. But they don't. They want to talk about toy dogs. They want to own the libs. They want to put Hollywood on trial when it's got nothing to do with anything at the end of the day.
I hate those people. Sorry.
What-
No, I don't. I don't hate. No,
what-
no, no. I
what
don't
was it?
hate. I'm sorry. I would like to pray for those people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pray for the people at MSNBC.
Well, that was CNN actually.
Whatever. They're all the same.
Either way, what I find great when they brought that second guy on, or in the live part. Okay, so let's just imagine that both of them, meaning the Fox News and the CNN, both were bearing good fruit.
Mm-hmm.
They're both telling the truth. We got to figure out which one, right? I mean, not just because of my political thoughts or whatever, but what Fox News, after Tucker, I forget that guy's name now, what he said was that these people gained entry after being kicked out. Unlawful entry, which, I'm sorry, actually, 2 counts of unlawful entry of one day.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what as CNN was like trying to like, oh, that is a 20-year-old comedy bit guy. Who cares? It doesn't matter who it was.
All they were
it's
listen,
all fit in their
listen,
narrative.
listen. All these guys were doing, Tucker, all these people, are just showing them the hypocrisy
That
right back at them.
yeah.
They're not gonna shut up and not say anything. What do you expect them to do? You think they're just gonna sit there and shut up? That you sit here and rally and say all kinds of dumb stuff about the insurrection, and you're defending it right now. You're just trying to defend it. Anyway, you say all these opinions, and then karma comes back, like we were talking about yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the golden rule:
Mhm.
do unto others as you would want done unto yourself. So you know you're the one claiming all these people are insurrectionists and stuff like that, and then your own staffers get arrested in the Capitol building. That's just so funny. I mean,
and
that's
now- yeah.
and you expect somebody not to point that out. And then now, what are you saying? You're saying something else now? Like, just be quiet.
Yeah.
Be quiet and know God. Colbert, aren't you a Catholic also? I think he is.
Yeah. All right. I guess.
You're not a good Catholic. That's another thing we were talking about today.
Mhm.
We didn't really talk about that, but I wanted to talk about that.
All right.
Kind of skimmed over it. Maybe we can talk about it. No, when we do the meditation,
Okay.
we'll
So
do
I guess-
that. We'll do or when we bring up Biden, because that's when he brought it up today. So what was the next one?
We can do either the Afghanistan earthquake.
Sure,
or
we'll do that.
Okay.
Go.
At least 1,000 dead, 1,500 injured in earthquake in Afghanistan.
Mm.
The 5.9 magnitude earthquake struck near the Pakistani border, and there's a little, like, under 1 minute video, I think.
Who's in it?
No, it's reporting on it there.
Do you know who's in the reporting? Is it
I don't know. No.
Wolfowitz?
Yeah, I maybe I don't know.
A major earthquake in Afghanistan, at least 1,000 dead.
Good.
Maggie really is tracking the story from London. Good morning, Maggie.
Hey, George, good morning. And the death toll there is rapidly rising as rescue teams are finally gaining some access to the mountainous region and seeing the damage firsthand. As of now, officials are saying at least 1,000 people have been killed. The 5.9 magnitude earthquake struck in the eastern province of Paktika in the middle of the night, and a local journalist tells ABC News that most people were killed in their homes. Now, early footage coming in shows landslides wiping out villages and destroying mud-built homes in the province. In remote areas, helicopters are flying the injured to the hospital, but some areas are difficult to reach. Now, earthquakes in Afghanistan do tend to be deadly as many of the homes are unstable, and officials say they only expect the death toll to rise. Michael?
Tragedy there. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it struck in the middle of the night.
Mm.
Like, just imagine that in like the vision of it.
Mm-hmm.
You're sleeping in bed and your house is being sucked into the middle of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and you wake up in enough time to realize. Imagine how terrifying that would be.
I bet you there's a correlation between where that happens a lot and a lot of faith.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I don't have any statistics to back it up though. But that's the bad thing about living in a place that's beautiful. Lots of places that are beautiful have earthquakes. California.
Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, this is
Costa Rica.
Yeah, but my opinion, that was
Italy.
Yeah, but that was Afghanistan. I did not find where they were.
Mm-hmm.
That part of Afghanistan. Pretty.
Okay, but that's not my point though. I'm saying that there's that the probability is, look at all those people in California. You know?
Yeah.
Californians, a lot of them are liberals, aren't they?
Okay, yeah.
Remember they were saying sometime they're going to have the big earthquake and California is going to fall off into the sea.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. One can only.
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe, the Bible, or end times, things like that. Plus look what just happened yesterday in Afghanistan. I mean, that's a major area for earthquakes is California as well. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Afghanistan's a lot worse than California though when it comes to earthquakes. I mean, if it was a couple years ago, I remember Pakistan got hit right around that same Pakistan-Afghanistan border area. A little bit after 9/11, I remember there being a pretty bad one, like maybe 2004-ish. There was a bad one in Afghanistan. Like that area is plagued with that Middle East area is just plagued with those earthquakes, it seems.
I'm glad we don't have to deal with that.
Oh my God, that reminds me of a comedian.
What?
Jeff Dunham, the guy that did the puppets. His puppet Walter was making a joke. He's like, man, at least in Florida. Yeah, he was making a Florida and California joke. He's like, Florida, man, you got the worst. You get hurricanes. At least you know what though? At least they give you a little time.
Yeah.
They give you a warning of like, hey, by the way, I'm quoting this, so don't yell. Hey, Floridian, you got 6 days to get the hell out before you die. And Jeff looked at him like, well, Walter, what do you think about where we live in California? He's like, that's even worse. Because last week there was a major earthquake and not 3 seconds before it hit, I told my grandson to pull my finger. He hasn't come near me in a week. He pulled my finger and half the neighborhood fell. But I'm like, that's kind of I don't know. It's just a point of like, yeah.
Anyway, that's that's something to have more fear about because that's true fear of God. You don't have the prior warning like you do in Florida.
Correct. I mean, hey, hurricane and storm still hit.
And if you ride it out, you want to ride it out, that's you. You decided to ride it out, right?
I feel like most Floridians do that.
What's the last thing?
Last thing I have is the Supreme Court okays use of public money for religious education.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In Maine, this is good news to me actually. The court
Pete Williams is here with more. Pete.
Sorry.
Well, Jose, yeah, we're waiting for Supreme Court decisions today. We've got one more yet to come, but the Supreme Court has just given a very interesting ruling on a case involving freedom of religion. This was a case from Maine, has an unusual program. In order to let children who live in rural areas attend high school, they give money to parents who can then use that for tuition to send their children to either public or private schools. But the state has a law that said that money can't be used to send the children to what are called sectarian schools. Now, the Supreme Court has previously ruled that when states have a sort of scholarship program like this, they can't discriminate against schools that have a religious affiliation, that are just run by a religious group. This case takes it a step further and says if a state's going to give money for this kind of support, it also has to give it to parents that can use send their children to schools that offer a religious education. So not just religious affiliation, but explicitly offer a religious education. The Supreme Court said it would violate religious freedom not to allow parents to use the money to send their children to religiously oriented schools. And it also said there is, in a sense, a kind of circuit breaker here because the money doesn't go directly to the schools. It goes to the parents who then decide where to send their children. So it's another step in, you might say, lowering the wall of separation between church and state. The Supreme Court taking this additional step here, saying that if a state's going to have this kind of a tuition program, that has to allow the money to go to schools that offer a religious education. So that's state support for a religious education. And it's a 6-3 decision with the conservatives and the liberals dividing. And we've got one more decision to come today, Jose. We don't know what that case will be, but we'll let you know. And then we're going to get decisions again on Thursday. So far, the Supreme Court has 14 decisions yet to go, Jose.
Oh, my God, dude. That's exactly what we're talking about. Freedom of religion, not from it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're talking about. And that's a misinterpretation of the law, what he just said at the end.
What?
He was saying how this is another thing that dissolves the separation of church and state. Or
no, I disagree with that.
That's not true.
Yeah.
You misinterpreted the law and you're saying it like it's true. Your opinion on a major news thing, and some idiot just read that or listened to that, and they think that's true. It's not true. It's freedom of religion, not from it.
Yeah,
and so that's great. I love how that the judges interpreted it like that. That it's smart, and especially the fact that look at that guy tearing up yesterday, talking about how the Constitution is divine. You know, and I think that a lot of people do feel that way.
No, I feel it.
You've seen it in the circles we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people like carry that just like the pocket Bible, and I think they sell them pocket Bible and the Constitution. Like it's in the same thing.
I'm pretty sure I have one in my truck actually.
But yeah, and so you know the lines cross. I mean, people do cross those lines, but it's not crossed like that. This is the thing with that. I don't understand why people can't agree with this and can't understand the concept. If we both are talking about all the time on this podcast that religion,
all right,
organized religion, denomination, whatever it is a spiritual language to God, right? They're all different. They're all the same. It's the same God. They're all just spiritual languages.
Yeah.
So obviously, don't you think that if we started a melting pot country where everybody was coming of all different shapes and sizes, of all different cultures, of all different backgrounds, of all different legitimate languages, they had different spiritual languages as well. They were saying everybody's free to practice whatever you want. That's all they were saying. They weren't saying when you come over here, don't practice anything. This is the devil talking about that. This is a land where everybody practices whatever you want, not a land where nobody practices anything. What are you talking about? They took the thing and then they switched it around. Like the clown world thing.
They're getting rid of God.
This is the clown world thing. This is like, no, we were founded on everybody. And it's not every, I disagree with, we're founded on Christian like things totally, you know?
Okay.
Like, yeah, those people, they had Christian backgrounds. A lot of them believe that. And some of them believed some other things too, right? There's some other different things. Some people like didn't even have like God really.
I believe Franklin might have been the agnostic, they call it.
But their thing was like, whatever it was, they were saying freedom to practice what you want to practice. They weren't even making an opinion regardless of either to do it if it's bad or good. They weren't making any opinion on it at all. They were just saying, practice whatever you want to. Speak whatever language you want to. Come here and have good intentions and, you know, work, and we're going to become United States citizens, United States of America. We are becoming a new people.
Mm-hmm. You made that made me have a realization, another one, on what you said earlier. Like, are people are they good inherently or whatever, how you phrased that?
Yeah.
I want to say that back then when like America was being founded and freedom of religion, basically that part, yes. I feel back then that people were good inherently. Why? Because they had that. Well, hold on. Because they had that. Just about everybody of God sense, whatever you want to call it. And nowadays, I mean, like, I'm just getting back really into spirituality like that and into religions again. And, like, think about it. Some people live their entire lives without any religion. Well, no wonder. And I'm not blaming, like, any of my parents for any of it, none of that. Yeah, I probably should have been taken to church more. Probably. And I look at it that without that, maybe things would have actually been different for me. Would I be where I am now? Possibly.
Look at Italy. Let's take Italy for an example.
All right.
It's got the Vatican City right in there, right in Italy. I know it's a different entity, but everybody is completely consumed with the Catholic Church. They're Catholics, like very through and through, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have strong family values, right? They have a strong family structure.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a great place. It's it's like a little heaven on earth in a lot of ways.
Maybe, yeah.
All right. I think that a lot of that has to do with it, man. The spirituality has a lot to do with it.
It does in any country.
And also, it's a blue state. It's where you live the longest. No, I don't know. There's Loma Linda, California.
Right? Oh, no. Yeah.
Blue state. That's where the people live the longest on earth.
Oh, yeah.
Sardinia.
Mm-hmm.
In Italy.
Costa Rica.
The Nicoya coast of Costa Rica.
Yep.
And wherever Mr. Miyagi was from.
Yeah, from in Japan. Was it Nagasaki?
No.
No.
Okinawa.
Yes.
Okinawa.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of different factors that lead to you having a long life. Like there's number one, family.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a good support system, you know that you're going to live long because you're not going to have to worry. You're not going to be put in a home, things like that, right? Another thing is diet. Those places are just like, they got like volcanoes. They got volcanic ash. They got like pure foods, no pesticides, right?
Yep.
And those are great climates probably, right? I don't know about Okinawa. I really don't know where that is. It's an island, right? I mean, those are probably all great climates.
Yeah.
And isn't there Loma Linda, California? There's like two other ones that are like right behind them.
One was in California, I know.
Yeah. And I don't know anything about those places. Those
other one in Spain or something? I thought there was someone in Spain. I might be wrong. Really? I thought there was someone somewhere.
Or Greece. Yes, Greece.
Yes, Greece. I knew it was Europe. It was
Greece.
It was something else. Yeah. Right. Okay. Close. Well, wrong.
Greece is Orthodox. Do they have a lot of religion in these places? You know, maybe that's another component. That was my major. Maybe there's another component.
Okinawa.
Because I think that like God lets you thrive here on earth if you are a good person.
Yeah.
You know, if you're, this is going to kind of go into what we're talking about. What we mentioned, what the priest mentioned today. Do you know what the priest mentioned today? Do you have anything about? That was it, right? For your bad news?
Yeah, that's it.
We had, did we have Biden in the news today?
I didn't myself.
You didn't, right?
No, that's why I was a little confused.
Okay, I guess we don't. All right, we don't. But anyway, so, but he mentioned Biden, the priest. He said that Biden apparently told, where did I find my notes? Oh, yeah. So the takeaway from Mass this morning, according to the priest, Biden claimed the Pope said that he was a good Catholic, quote unquote, good Catholic.
Right.
And today's homily was about how we daily Mass attendees are, quote unquote, good Catholics. And furthermore, it is our moral obligation to go and lead by example. So, I don't know. Biden's an old guy. He's still living. Does he go to daily Mass? I'm not sure if he goes to daily Mass. He doesn't, right? He goes to.
Not many do.
That'd be crazy if he does. But
I mean, I'm just gonna put it this way. I didn't.
But why? But why he? But also, I don't believe anything that Biden says, right? Because he's a known. He's known.
He's a known.
Of course, you could always come around and you could make amends and you could, be a better person. But I don't think he's done that in that short of a time. He's done a lot to ruin the country right now at this point. But the priest said that Biden claimed, he said specifically the word claimed, that the Pope said that he was a good Catholic. And this Pope, who even knows? I mean, I don't, even as a quote unquote, I'm not going to say that that's what I am. I'm not that, but whatever.
I mean, I don't, again,
I would say this Pope,
the Pope is a man.
This Pope is nobody to really
the Pope
trust.
Is a man, another human.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
So, yeah, what do you think about good Catholics, bad Catholics? Good Catholics, I guess, is somebody who goes to church every day.
You know what? I have to actually disagree a little. Because something I learned when I was going through AA, it doesn't matter if you go to a meeting every day. Yeah, go to a meeting every day for 1 hour. Big whoops. But you go to a meeting and you actually sit there for 5 minutes, stay off your phone and listen. At like what they call a big book study, where you read just from the book and then you break it down just like we do. You listen for 5 minutes of that, you got a hell of a lot more out of the meeting than going every day for 3 months straight. He's like, by listening to the book. The same idea of this, and that I don't know.
But maybe you know what it is though. Back in the day, they didn't read. They didn't have books.
Well, yeah.
So you go to the movies, right?
Yeah.
So they went to the church, and then the church read it to them, or they told them, and they went through the thing. They they were speaking Latin. Well, yeah, then they knew. They knew what it was saying. So, but they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of how I'm not sure, but I think that's probably how it evolved like that, and so you're going through it. You're going through all the mass. You're learning about what's going on in the Bible,
right?
And you don't have to read it. You have to you go and you watch it like you're watching the movies.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. And then now it's evolved into this.
Yeah. But I don't think that going to church every day makes, if whatever denomination or Catholic, does not make you a good whatever.
What the Catholics believe their interpretation of the Bible is, and then I got that picture of the Eucharist actually, because we just passed that Corpus Christi Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is that Corpus Christi?
I thought you showed it to me on the phone.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Yep. You see that?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's what we believe. We believe that Catholics believe this. They believe that you're supposed to speaking of rituals, you're supposed to go through this ritual every day. And by the way, I've been thinking about it. I don't know who makes these wafers, but you could do a little bit better.
That's the exact.
You could do a little bit.
That is the exact opposite.
And I hope they're not cancer causing or anything. I hope they're made in a blue state where they have a lot of volcanic ash or something.
That is the exact wrong. I don't even know how else to say that. How do people become a saint? What one of the things they do? They give up their wealth. They go to a life of poverty and malnourishment and all the other fasting.
Malnourishment,
fasting, all that stuff, right?
Yes.
That's supposed to be the minimal. Dough and water and eggs or whatever, how to make bread.
Yeah.
That's supposed to symbolize the minimal ingredient to make that, like oil and flour.
Okay.
That's why it tastes bad, because it doesn't have like salt and good stuff in it.
Well, whatever, man.
I'm sorry, I'm using logic on you.
All right. There's some more bad news. I got a bunch of bad news here.
Mhm.
Let me clean some of this bad news up. All right, so I'll just go in order according to alphabet. Bill Cosby. So Bill Cosby, the civil jury finds Bill Cosby sexually abused teenager in 1975. So in Santa Monica, California, jurors at a civil trial found Tuesday that Bill Cosby sexually abused a 16-year-old girl at the Playboy Mansion in 1975. Oh my God. It was a long time ago. The Los Angeles County jury delivered the verdict in favor of Judy Huth, who is now 64, and awarded her $500,000. She said the fact that jurors believed her story meant more than the sum of money or the fact that she didn't win punitive damages. Oh my God. I've been tortured. It's been torture. Huth said of the 70-year legal fight to be ripped apart, thrown under the bus and backed over. This to me is such a big victory. Jurors found that Cosby intentionally caused harmful sexual contact with Huth, that he reasonably believed she was under 18, and that his conduct was driven by unnatural or abnormal sexual interest in a minor. The juror's decision is a major legal defeat for the 84-year-old entertainer, once hailed as America's dad. It comes nearly a year after his Pennsylvania criminal conviction for sexual assault was thrown out and he was freed from prison. Huth's lawsuit was one of the last remaining legal claims against him after his insurer settled many others against his will. Now, are you going to say what I'm going to say right now?
What?
Wolf in sheep's clothing.
Oh, yeah, that's what he was. But then again, he also was just kind of like Ramdas. He used probably the power.
We don't know this.
Maybe.
This is my theory.
Yeah, our theory is on Ramdas.
Yeah. It's not quoted like the Bible.
Our theory. Yeah.
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 So what do you think?
I mean,
Bill Cosby, dude.
It's sad to me.
I gotta go take a really quick. I do. And then we'll come back. We'll talk about Bill Cosby real quick.
You putting the screen up? Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the screen up. Hold on one sec. We'll be right back. Let me go take a pee break. And we are back.
Outstanding. Pow.
So Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing that like keeps biting him in the ass and coming back.
Well,
after all these years, it's crazy. 1975. I wasn't even born yet. And
Well,
Bill
that didn't
Cosby,
happen.
Bill Cosby is already statute raping girls. Statute?
I guess so. Yeah.
That's another statute word. Statutory rape.
Mm-hmm. But he did. I mean,
And so did she willingly have sex with him? It was just statutory rape. She wouldn't. $500,000. Speaking of $500,000, how about this? And I didn't even set this up like this. Surveillance video reveals Connecticut boy 6 who suffered severe burns while playing with ball doused in gasoline was not a victim of bullies, as his mom stated. Parents raised $500,000 on GoFundMe with claim he had been targeted. You want to watch it?
Yeah.
The one in the white is a so-called bully playing with Dominic Crinkle. Put me on, dude. So you see his that's not conclusive to me. That doesn't look conclusive. They said the guy in the white, the kid in the white, was supposed to be the bully. They walk over to the side and you don't see what's going on, so you don't really know what happened.
No,
you don't see if he goes like that and he threw it in his face or something. But some of these Twitter, just reading some of these Twitter reactions to it, they're like, somebody said, immediately going negative. You know, looks to me like the one kid lit the other kid on fire. No, I mean, yeah, that's what I said, right? Which would substantiate it. And somebody said, this is why I never donate money to these things. Too many scammers. Ironic how we've had so many of these alleged hate crimes ultimately turn out to be proven false. But I don't know, man. That's not proven to be false, though, right? I don't see. Conclusive evidence.
Don't see it. I don't know what I guess the courts are feeling on this. If there's even anything on it. I mean, I'm gonna put it like this: if you're putting a GoFundMe out for something like that, right? There better be like a court thing going with it. There better be charges. I mean, not court thing, charges. Like them parents better be charging the kids. I guess the kid's parents.
Yeah, you're right.
If you're not making any effort on that, then like, what do you need the money for? Because
I know
you're sad. I'm sorry that your kid caught on fire. That's how I'll neutrally say it. The kid caught on fire. That's funny. Actually, but sorry. Yeah, your kid caught on fire. That's terrible. But if that was something like, let's say,
I know, is it going to be for surgery for your face or something?
Right. What is it for? And then if you want to claim that it's bullying, well, then you better have charges pressed against the kid's parents, I guess, or whatever.
You're right. You're absolutely.
If you're not, then I'm
Genghis, thank you very much. Genghis, once again, Genghis is right. Genghis is right. Genghis is right. Let's go to the next one. This is really sad. Jesuit priests, 2 Jesuit priests killed in northern Mexico. And I think this was yesterday.
Yeah.
And yesterday was the feast day of Aloysius Gonzaga, who was a Jesuit priest. I wonder if there's any connection to the killings. But this happened in Mexico City. 2 elderly Jesuit priests were killed inside a church where a man pursued by gunmen apparently sought refuge in a remote mountainous area of northern Mexico. The religious order's Mexican branch announced Tuesday. Javier Campos Morales, 79, and Joaquin Cesar Mora Salazar, 80, were slain Monday inside the church in Cerro Cahui in Chihuahua State. I'm sorry. That's bad.
That's Chihuahua.
Is that Chihuahua?
Yeah.
Is that Chihuahua State?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I only know because of the dog.
Well, they were apparently killed after a man fleeing a drug gang took refuge in the church, authorities said. The gang apparently pursued and caught him and killed all three. Chihuahua Governor Maria Eugenia Campos confirmed a third man was killed without identifying him. But President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador said during his daily news conference that the man fleeing the gunman was also killed. The state government later identified the third man as a tourist guide and said he had been kidnapped and taken to the church apparently by the gunman. The governor said the killings caused deep anger, indignation, and pain and shook us to our deepest depths. Lopez Obrador said authorities had information about possible suspects in the killings and noted the area has a strong organized crime presence. Violence has plagued the Tarahumara Mountains for years. The rugged pine-clad region is home to the indigenous group of the same name. Cherokee is near a point where Chihuahua State meets Sonora and Sinaloa, a major drug-producing region. A statement from the Roman Catholic Society of Jesus in Mexico demanded justice and the nature of the men's bodies. It said gunmen had taken both of their bodies from the church. Acts like these are not isolated. The statement said, the Tarahumara Mountains, like many other regions of the country, face conditions of violence and abandonment that have not been reversed. Every day, men and women are arbitrarily deprived of life, as our murdered brothers were today. For some reason, the gunman did not kill a third priest who was at the church, but refused his pleas for them to leave the bodies of his two colleagues, said Narce Santabanez. Narce Santabanez, the press director for the Jesuits in Mexico. The surviving priest said his two colleagues had been killed with gunshots at close range. The Tarahumara Diocese said in a statement that the killers, not content with murdering them, have taken their bodies, leaving a wake of pain, sadness, and indignation among all of us who want to mourn them. Wow. So they took their bodies too?
Yeah,
They currently have their bodies?
I guess so. Or they dumped them somewhere.
Damn, they are so gangster there.
Or they dumped them. Or who knows, really.
The killing of priests has been a persistent tragedy in Mexico, at least since the start of the drug war in 2006. The Reverend Gilberto Guevara serves in the parish of Aguililla in the western state of Michoacan, a town which has been on the front lines of cartel turf wars for years. 3 priests have been killed in the area over the last decade. The danger is always there, Guevara said, about working in the cartel-dominated region. As long as we don't get in the way, they respect us, just as the government respects at us as long as we are useful to them. The church's Catholic Multimedia Center said 7 priests have been murdered under the current administration, which took office in December 2018, and at least 24 under the former president who took office in 2012. The center said that on May 15th, a priest who ran a migrant shelter in the northern border city of Tecate was found dead on a ranch. In 2021, a Franciscan priest died when he was caught in the crossfire of a drug gang shootout in the north central state of Zacatecas as he drove to mass. Another priest was killed in the central state of Morelos and another in the violence-plagued state of Guanajuato that year. In 2019, a priest was stabbed to death in the northern border city of Matamoros across from Brownsville, Texas. Chihuahua's governor wrote in her Twitter account that she laments and condemns the killings and said security arrangements had been discussed for priests in the area. Campos Morales was ordained as a priest in 1972 and spent almost a half-century working in parishes in the Tarahumara region, known for its grinding poverty and scenic beauty. Mora Salazar was ordained in 1971 and worked off and on in the Terra Humera in the 1970s and 80s before returning full-time in 2000. The Terra Humera people, who prefer the name Rara Murray, suffered centuries of poverty, exclusion, and exploitation, with loggers plundering their forests and drug gangs cultivating marijuana and opium poppies in the mountains. The Jesuits started missions among the Rara Murray in the 1600s, but were expelled by Spain in 1767. They returned around 1900. The indigenous community has gained worldwide fame for their skill at running dozens of miles through their mountainous territory, often in leather sandals or barefoot, and have inspired and competed in ultra long distance foot races.
Wow, that's cool.
So here you have, would you say these guys are saints?
I believe. I don't believe that their death was in a martyr type situation like a lot of the other saints.
They were killed in the church.
Look, it's a terrible tragedy, regardless. Terrible that they were killed that the priests were killed at all, and that they were killed in a church and then removed, that their bodies removed.
Right.
That bottom line. However, a lot from what I'm noticing, I don't know the procedures. I don't believe their death would be in a martyr situation, because a lot of them in the past were burned or killed because they believed in Christ.
Yeah. We don't know. We don't know the particulars of it, really.
Right. So as far as we know,
everything's all an assumption. The whole article is just like, it's in a region. They're in this region where there's a lot of drug cartels.
They're basically, it's almost like they're re-reporting on the drug cartels.
Yeah.
Running, which we already knew that.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's how all of these things are. The Pope tweeted today. Oh, I wanted to find out what this is. Tomorrow, this is what the Pope tweets.
Yep.
The World Meeting of Families will begin. And I noticed that I have this in the bad news section. I don't know why. But anyway, it will take place in Rome. Can you look that up? Can you look at the World Meeting of Families, please? Anyway, he says it will take place in Rome and at the same time throughout the world. I thank the married couples and families who will bear witness to familial love as a vocation and way to holiness. Have a good meeting. And then somebody was tweeting underneath it, this meeting should begin to include couples who love each other, even if they are same sex. Love is love. There is no condition for love. There are many same-sex couples who could give a few talks on how to stay married and face problems as a project of love. Anyway.
The World Meeting of Families is a gathering of the Roman Catholic Church that has occurred every 3 years since 1994. It was organized by the Diocese for Laity, Laity, Family and Life, which promote the pastoral care of family, protect their rights and dignity in the church and in civil society, so that they may ever be more able to fulfill their duties. It is the biggest gathering of Catholic families in the world. That's what the book of Wikipedia says about that.
So, okay. So it's just a big gathering of families?
So how I guess if you would...
It's like a convention?
Yeah. Let's check out their actual website now. See what they say. Yeah, basically it seems like it's just another like convention or a meeting of Catholics or whatever. Instead, kind of like different branches of government. Like the Supreme Court. This is like a Supreme Court-ish thing, or like a not Supreme Court of what they do, but another branch of the Vatican.
It is?
It seems it, yeah, because there are a lot of things with the Vatican.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me look this up. World Families. World Meeting of Families.
It was created by.
It was on TV. There was a TV thing.
Yeah, I guess so. Huh. But yeah, it seems like it's something under.
All right, so in June 2021, the Holy Father announced that the World Meeting of Families celebration would not take place in the usual format. The event is in Rome, will be held for invited guests only, primarily representatives of Episcopal conferences and ecclesiastical movements. The dicastery for Lady, Family, and Life has requested a U.S. delegation to include a limited number of married couples and families with clergy who have demonstrated pastoral solicitude and ministry towards marriages and families. Okay.
But yeah, it's like a thing under the Vatican. How I'm seeing it.
All right. So more bad news here. Look at this is a new element or a new element of sister wives or a new kind of sister wife. See that?
Mm-hmm.
We found out we're siblings, but we're still dating. Now, somebody says underneath that this is a lie. They're taking the DNA test right now and have to wait a few weeks for results. They don't know if they're related yet either. But look at them. They look pretty freaking similar. Is this insane? What is this? Look at this.
Funny. Yes, but not funny. Haha. Funny weird.
Put me back on. Sorry. Let me do this. Let me remove the stupid thing for 1 second. There. Play it.
Funny. Yes, but not funny. Haha. Funny weird.
They're really clever at the New York Post. Why would they put kissing cousins? It's obviously sister wives. It's crazy.
I mean, this is
what?
That's weird.
It's pretty weird.
Very weird.
It's pretty weird, man. It's the end of the world, dude. It's the end of the world. It's the end of the world, dude. It's the end of the world, dude. Oh my God. So, what about Ben Stiller? I was looking here.
Yeah, what do you got on him? I hate to hear bad news on him. I did like him in Meet the Parents. I didn't like Did
you see this? Did you see this? This picture that's circulating with Zelensky. This one.
I did. I saw some.
This one right here.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that picture, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody on Twitter was like this. They said, I don't remember Hollywood celebrities traveling to war zones en masse before. I guess Ukraine is special. That's true. Kind of. But you remember Jane Fonda?
Yeah.
This person? Remember Jane Fonda? Hanoi Jane, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think there's been a tradition, basically, of Hollywood celebrities going to war zones. I mean, they have that, not just Hollywood celebrities, all kinds of celebrities. They go to war zones to entertain the troops too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on with the Ukraine or why they're doing that right there.
Yeah, I mean the Ukraine one is weird because he's not showing anything in a wartime thing.
And remember the El Chapo thing.
Yeah.
They went.
I mean, however, you know what I gotta admit is a little bit like kind of funny in a funny, weird way? Is that where was Jane Fonda, did you say? That was during the...
That was during the Vietnam War.
War.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm just putting it out there. Two wars that are, what would you call it, like maybe viewed differently. Vietnam was a big war that a lot of people, talked about. And then, of course, a lot of people are talking about the Ukrainian war, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it maybe they're sending the celebrity from the U.S. so then people pay more attention to it? They're
Of
just
course,
tricking us?
dude.
And why would you use
Idolatry.
people?
Idolatry.
Like, why?
This is why. Idolatry. You know what that word means, right? Idol worship.
Yeah.
False prophets, like we're talking about.
I mean, I think
beware of false prophets. Look at that. Beware of false prophets.
I mean, a lot of the
They're
Hollywood
going
people
are false prophets. A lot of Hollywood people are false prophets. They have nothing inside of them. Like they are literally, they're an empty shell, and you fill it up, and you tell them what to say. You tell them how to look. Yep,
everything.
right. You dress them all up, and they go say a thing, a prepared thing. It's not coming from the soul, is it? Is it coming from their heart?
No,
maybe it came from the writer's heart or something. I don't know. I don't know the background of where the words came from. Maybe it did. But
can I just make a weird comment on the picture?
But the person, though, I'm saying yes, of course.
I just noticed it. You notice how Ben Stiller and Zelensky are, I would say, roughly the same height,
size,
right?
Yes.
The same height.
Right.
Now, if you can move that the little Twitter thing a little bit.
Okay.
Just move it to or Jane Fonda. Why is Ben Stiller's arm so much longer than Zelensky? I'm sorry, I'm a little stupid. That's all I saw. Why are they?
Dude, I don't know, man. It's true.
They're the same size, but yet
his arms are bigger.
That's weird. Sorry, they're just
Zelensky is a little dude.
Yeah, I can't Actually, you know what? How big even is Zelensky or Ben Stiller?
5'6", something like that, probably.
I guess. Yeah. Ben Stiller, 5'6".
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I knew he was short,
Mm-hmm.
but so that puts Zelensky probably right at 5'6".
He looks about that.
I give him, Ben Stiller might have I don't even know. I think they're about the same, actually. I really do.
That's funny that you noticed that. All right, so but you see that that's not true, that Hollywood celebrities have been doing this forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
That I don't remember Hollywood celebrities traveling to war zones en masse before. I guess Ukraine is special. No, that's not true. They're not. They've been doing this for a long time, and they get you on. That was actually the opposite. That was a lot of that was like morale. Jane Fonda, morale boosting in, and actually they were against the war.
Mm-hmm.
They're against it, right? These guys are for it, and they're going there. It's crazy. So another way to write that is maybe I remember celebrities going to entertain the troops,
mm-hmm.
not brainwash the public into but maybe they do. They did that too. I think they've always. I'm going with the initial thing. I think they've always done it.
Yeah, because you know what I mean. Yes, the Vietnam War. I wasn't alive for that, so I don't have a real opinion on going to war on that. However, though, it does seem that we were there for a while. That was a little unnecessary. Why do I say that? Because one of the rules of Sun Tzu's book, The Art of War, you always invade a country that you can prosper from. What were we gaining? At least with the Iraq War and other stuff like Bush did, we were going after the oil. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
But what were we going after for Vietnam? And now what are we going into Ukraine for? Oil.
Mm-hmm. All right. So and then also on top of that, what I found interesting was Cat Turd. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. It's funny. No. Thank God for Ben Stiller and his wonderful judge of character. Look at him with all these pictures.
Oh wow.
He's got all these disgraced people. It's funny, right?
Huh. It's not really that funny. It's kind of disturbing, but yeah, it's funny too. Wow, wow, you're really damn. I'm a little upset because one of my favorite movies was Meet the Parents, and he was great in that. Now I definitely can't watch it with him and De Niro in it.
So you see the pilots. I was talking about the pilots, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the last piece of bad news. Southwest Airlines pilots picket outside Love Field. So they're coming together for a demonstration in Dallas in what the union is calling the largest display of unity in Southwest Airlines history. Starting at 9 a.m., over 1,000 Southwest Airlines pilots lined up along Mockingbird Lane in front of Dallas Love Field, protesting for better treatment after what has been a chaotic past 2 years since the pandemic. The picket was scheduled to end at 12 p.m. It's being led by Southwest Airlines Pilots Association, the union representing the pilots. And then there's a little tweet about it. The union's calling the demonstration an informational picket, in an effort to raise awareness to pilot fatigue, stress, the pilot shortage, and other issues that have made flight cancellations and delays the norm for the past year. Our pilots have had to address the fatigue issues with management publicly, which is something that we never want to do. But ultimately, our pilots have been tired and have been trying to do everything they can, said Captain Casey Murray, a pilot and president of the SWA Pilots Association. So is this because of COVID stuff?
I believe it's a little bit of it, yeah.
So the union emphasizes this is not a walkout. According to the event website, union rules state pilots can't call in sick to take part in the picket and can't negatively impact the company's operation to attend. The pilots and other supporters taking part in the picket are already scheduled to not work on Tuesday.
Wow.
Interesting. According to Southwest Airlines, the event shouldn't affect passengers who are scheduled to fly on Tuesday. We're aware that some off-duty pilots are participating in informational picketing. Southwest Airlines told NBC5 in a statement, Southwest Airlines respects the right of our employees to express their opinions, and we do not anticipate any disruption in service as a result of this single demonstration. For 51 years, we've maintained a legendary Southwest culture that honors our valued employees. Murray said the biggest grievance is that Southwest has a problem with bad scheduling and connecting flights for pilots, which causes them to fly longer and become more fatigued. Wow, thanks. I'm glad I know this. We've seen our company not really address a lot of operational problems. This has been going on for several years, he said. While we do not need to hire pilots, the main problem is really the efficiency and the scheduling efficiencies that we've seen. Murray explained that many pilots start their day scheduled to fly to one destination only to receive a late reassignment that instructs them to fly elsewhere. In many cases, it's a longer flight, which has led pilots feeling fatigued and frustrated. He said pilots are feeling overworked during the never-ending travel demand, and he hopes this will get the company's attention to negotiate new contracts and better treatment for pilots. Our pilots have lost over the last year almost 20,000 days off, which is over 50 years that our pilots have lost involuntarily being made to fly on off days. And again, fatigue is cumulative. So it adds up. And the more flying that there is, that has to be covered, Murray said. Southwest Airlines said in a statement that contract negotiations with pilots are ongoing. Southwest Airlines said in a statement that contract negotiations with pilots are ongoing. Murray added that a contract plan has been presented to the airline As those negotiations continue, our contract has been completely rewritten. It addresses a lot of these issues to help the company. And if they're going to go out and execute the schedule that is most profitable, because we've seen them reduce the schedule pretty much every month for a little more than a year. We want to see them go out and capture as much revenue as they can, said Murray. Our contract that we're in negotiations for does that. It also allows Southwest to go out and hire in a very competitive market the best pilots. The SWA pilots are not alone in their protests. Last Thursday, Delta Airlines published an open letter to customers who are frustrated by flight delays and cancellations. In the letter, Delta pilots said they've been working on days off and pulling in more overtime in 2022 than all of 2018, 2019 combined, which were their busiest year to date. Delta recently announced it was canceling some 100 daily departures from destinations in the U.S. and Latin America, affecting travel from July 1st to August 7th to address staffing issues. American Airlines pilots have already demonstrated at DFW Airport this year. Murray has a message for passengers and workers and amid the ongoing struggles throughout the busy summer travel season. Our pilots and all our frontline employees will do everything that we can to make sure that their travel experiences is satisfactory. We work on off days. We voluntarily pick up as much flying as we can to make sure that those passengers, our guests on the airplane, get to where they want to be as safely and effectively as possible, efficiently as possible. Wow. Yeah. So, there's been a lot of delays and, there's been a lot of delays and cancellation lately.
Oh, yeah.
So Southwest is actually pushing them to meet up with it. Look at this picket line. Watch. Look. Yeah. Looks about right.
Yeah.
It's about it's about 1,000 people, but they all had their day off. So they had their day off, and they still came and picketed
because it's a cause that they truthfully believe in.
Look at all the sheep that are dead now, dude. Look at this. Did you see this thing? This is crazy. Boom! Look at this.
Yeah, that's obvious.
What? What do you, dude?
So,
I don't know what's going on with that.
I got a takeaway on that.
Okay.
And so you remember? I know it was last week at least. We covered a little video of a bunch of dead cows.
That's why I brought.
Yeah, and this is their plan. Think about too. I'm gonna tie a few stories into it.
Okay.
They're killing off the cows. No food.
Yep.
They're killing off the sheep. No wool, no clothes. Then they talk, and then of course they're saying, I know the cows. They linked it with, they said
the food processing
heat stroke or something with all the cows, how they died.
Yeah,
heat stroke meaning the global warming. Stop using fossil
Remember
fuels.
the food processing plants are all burning down too.
Yeah, so they're eliminating food. Now they're going to start eliminating clothing being made, and everything's going. They want to get rid of all the oil and stuff like that. I saw some stupid thing. John Kerry, nobody received it well. Like, nobody cares what he said. He had some press conference about global warming, and no real places covered it other than saying, like, nobody cares. And, like, really, they're going to get rid of all that to go dependent on some other thing. They shut down California's last nuclear power plant recently. And there's going to be rolling blackouts in California with all their new energy stuff. That's what they're trying to push us to. And once that happens, once there's no food, there's no clothing, there's no nothing, that's when they have us in their full control. And that's what I believe that this evil government right now is pushing for. And anyone, and I will pray, I will even pray for them to see the error of their ways. I hope they see it. That's a scary thought, though.
All right, good news. The last of it is the meditation, and we're out of here. I'm tired.
Good
What?
news. I need to hear it because I'm feeling bad news right now.
All right, let's finish with the meditation of the day, and this is by Saint Paulinus of Nola, our homie, and it's entitled "Bearing Fruit with Christ." Scripture says, "Every good man brings forth good from good. And you know a tree by its fruit. For there is no harmony between darkness and light, and the wolf does not associate with the lamb. God, the blessed creator and source of saintly men, now draws all things upward, that the whole world might become subject to God. And every tongue, every power should proclaim that Jesus alone rules above every name in the glory of the Father. Even secular potentates are now bending the knee and surrendering their necks to this God. Princes confess the kingship of Christ and lower their scepters before the cross. Royal robes and rags harmoniously form a single flock under God, the shepherd. Christ is the common kingdom, the one blood for all, both highest and lowest. He enriched you, so splendid in the vaunted possessions of worldly position and family, with humility of heart, so that he could bestow on you eternal eminence, and so that by loving the poor here on earth, you could share the inheritance of the rich in heaven. You are blessed now because you are poor in spirit, but rich in the hope in which the poor take joy, for they are deprived of the fleeting goods of this world, but will enjoy the delights of heaven. Amongst these poor, high in the arms of Father Abraham, the God of the living is preparing for you a place. You have heard the words addressed to the blessed. Your seed will be powerful, and you know the saying, I shall set in my abode him who is the fruit of your womb. Admittedly, these words of David are proclaiming Christ, but they are also a posit to those living in Christ who will be set in God's abode because they form part of Christ's body. For Christ is our strength and our head, for he is the right hand and strength of God. We who have attained him overcome the serpent when he attacks us with 1,000 wiles. For when our outer selves are wasted through the pressures of self-control, our inner persons are renewed and gain strength through the weakness of our conquered bodies. Christ has become the head of those who are redeemed. With him as our head, we advance in freedom over the noisome head of the dragon we have defeated. If he becomes your head, then you don't need your brain. You can just get rid of your ego and just let Christ be your head. Like literally head. You just use, and then you just shut your brain off, pray, shut your brain off, open up your heart and just let Christ be your head. He just, whatever he says is you.
Actually, and I want to make a sick.
Either that or this is just hyper religiosity.
Well, mine might even be.
What?
I feel like I noticed a pattern in some of the saints. Seems like a lot of them were like beheaded when they were killed.
Were they?
I feel like I remember hearing a couple of them.
I don't know. There's a lot.
Not a lot.
There's,
I should say a few of them that we've been covering.
Yeah.
I feel like there were like maybe 3 or 4 that were beheaded. Because I remember yesterday saying they said like, oh, his ashes are in one church, but his head is held in another church. Like, wait a minute. Is that so his body doesn't have his head, but can have Christ's head in the afterlife?
All right, listen, we're gonna turn into pumpkin heads if we don't stop this right now.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
Yep.
We're gonna get out of here.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Let me put the cover on. So, you want to finish up? Say all the things that people need to know.
Thank you for all the listeners and everybody who tuned in with us. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
Outstanding.
We are also on Rumble and Spotify and soon all social media platforms. And what are we doing?
We are uniting the Christians with truth instead of dividing them with lies. A little bit of ankle biting off JLP. If you are a Jesse Lee Peterson watcher, listener, and you understand the silent prayer and things like that, and you understand that meditation and spirituality need to go together, and let's say you're a Catholic, well, this is where that ends and we begin.
Yes, it does.
And as always, the podcast is ended. Please, guys, go in peace to love and serve the Lord. And of course, vaya con Dios.
Go with God.
FATENZO.com. Outstanding.